Washington, D.C. stands as a symbol of democracy, a city that houses the very heart of the United States government. But have you ever wondered how this iconic city came to be? From its humble beginnings as a swampy expanse to the capital of a burgeoning nation, this is the story of Washington, D.C. In the early years of the United States, Congress met in several cities, from Philadelphia to New York. But the lack of a permanent seat of government posed logistical and symbolic challenges. The idea of creating a dedicated capital emerged as part of the new nation's identity. During the Constitutional Convention, the Founding Fathers agreed that the new federal government needed its own territory, independent of any state. This idea was enshrined in Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, granting Congress the power to establish a federal district. The location of the capital was a contentious issue. Northern states favored cities like Philadelphia or New York, while southern states wanted a location closer to their region. In 1790, a pivotal agreement, the Compromise of 1790, was reached. Alexander Hamilton secured Southern support for his plan to federalize state debts, while Thomas Jefferson and James Madison ensured that the capital would be located along the Potomac River. President George Washington was tasked with selecting the exact location. President Washington chose a 100-square-mile area straddling Maryland and Virginia. The site was strategically located near his home at Mount Vernon and provided access to the Potomac River, essential for trade and transportation. French-born architect and engineer Pierre-Charles L'Enfant was commissioned to design the city. His plan included wide avenues radiating from key landmarks, inspired by the great cities of Europe. However, L'Enfant's vision clashed with local landowners, and he was eventually dismissed from the project. The area selected for the capital was far from ideal. Much of it was swampy, with harsh conditions for workers and settlers. Despite these challenges, construction began on key landmarks such as the Capitol Building and the White House in the 1790s. By 1800, the federal government officially moved to Washington, D.C., but the city was far from complete. Roads were muddy, infrastructure was lacking, and residents faced difficult living conditions. In 1814, during the War of 1812, British forces invaded Washington and set fire to several government buildings, including the Capitol and the White House. The destruction was a significant setback, but it also symbolized the resilience of the American spirit. Throughout the 19th century, Washington, D.C. slowly grew into its role as the nation's capital. The completion of the Washington Monument in 1884 and the rebuilding of the Capitol Dome after the Civil War marked key milestones in the city's transformation. Today, Washington, D.C. is not just a seat of government, but a living symbol of democracy. Its landmarks tell the story of a nation's trials and triumphs, from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial to the halls of the Supreme Court. The founding of Washington, D.C. was a testament to vision, compromise, and perseverance. It is a reminder that even in the face of challenges, great things can emerge. This is the story of how a swamp became the heart of a nation. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more stories of Washington.